Good morning. We are in Erie, Pennsylvania, and today I want to talk about force feedback. And since I have force feedback yoke and rudder pedals from FliteSim.com, I thought it would be good to kind of show how I'm using them in VR. And the other thing I'm showing off is my brand new Bigscreen Beyond 2e. So it's an eye tracking version of the Bigscreen Beyond. It was a little bit of a ride to kind of get to this place where I can actually feel comfortable about streaming with it, because for the first quite a few days, about every, we'll say 3 times a minute, I would get a gray screen. The gray screen could last anywhere from 1.5 seconds to 5 seconds. And if you're doing a final on final, and all of a sudden you can't see for 5 seconds, that can turn into some pretty entertaining stuff. So, but those days seem to be behind me. It turns out that, well, I'll just say what I tried. So I replaced the link box. I was sent, I bought the link box. I'm sure I'll get it RMA'd. Bigscreen sent me a new fiber optic cable, and they suggested I use a little bit of a previous version of the NVIDIA drivers than what I was using. So, so those 3 things were changed, and the gray screens, at least in my testing, are gone. And any of the kind of quirky tracking issues that I had, sometimes I would, if I was looking down like this and turn my head, the tracking of the cockpit would kind of, it wouldn't go by a lot. I wouldn't gray screen, but it would kind of like glitch just a little bit, really a little bit. But those seem to be behind me. So hey, we'll find out today. So my goal today is to kind of show all of that off, and also kind of show what my experience with force feedback in X-Plane has been using this particular yoke and rudder pedals. There's a couple of new people on the market now. Moza is here. They don't have rudder pedals, but FliteSim.com has the yoke and rudder pedals. I've had the yoke for about, it'll be a little over a year now. The rudder pedals, I've had them for about 3 or 4 months. So, I'm quite a bit more comfortable with them. And they have released a new version of the software. It's version 3.3.3. And one thing that they have changed is you no longer have to calibrate the rudder and the yoke in X-Plane. It's all automatic. So it all, basically you use something, let me, I'll bring this down in front of me. So it's a little bit, it'd be easier to see in the stream. So if I click over here on autopilot and trim, hello. So why is that not working? That's a little odd. I've had this work in the past, but I don't know why it's not now. Huh. Why would that be true? Maybe. Huh. This is something I didn't try. Huh. Well, that's a little disappointing. I don't have an answer. Wish I did. That's disappointing, though. You see what's going on, like it is, like I see the green, that green laser. It's like going right through it. So I'm wondering if I got a conflict with something. Let me jump out to the back of the plane. We'll see. So, hello, Iowa Scotsman. There we go. I'm not sure what was going on. Maybe it needed to be, it kind of like got lost and I clicked on search and it come back. Okay, so two things are going on here. So there's this thing called, pull this back, pull this a little closer. So you have this thing called Enable Position Direct Input. That's enabled, that's turned on. What that allows the FliteSim FFBTools to do is to use the data refs from X-Plane. It basically directly talks to this software, which is pretty slick. So that's enabled there, and then if I go to my rudder pedals, same place, AP and trim, that's enabled. So that's kind of the what allows that to work. So if we come over here, whoops, a little close, Bill. All right, let's go here. So right now, I want to get a side profile of the stabilizer. So right now the yoke is pretty far forward. I can pull it back a little bit when I release it, so you can see this blue line here. So that's the position of where the yoke is. So this is drooped almost all the way down, not quite, but that's all the way down. And so that basically replicates just like a real 172. This is how, if you walk up to one setting in its state right now, that's basically how it will be. As we start the engine, then that's going to change because of the slipstream from the propeller. As the air moves back across it, it's going to basically make the slip. So let me go next to the joystick. So if we look here on the rudder, so you see we got an access for the right and left toe brake, but for the this would normally say yeah, that's none. I go over to the yoke. The yoke's got none for everything. So this would normally be 2. You know, you would have the pitch and you'd have roll. And so those are set to none because the software is taking care of it. So okay, so right there is about level. So you can, hello, come on back. So that's where that blue line is right now. So, and we'll, and right now, because this is where the 2 lines cross, so there's about 18 newtons of force trying to say, I don't want to be here. So if I let go of it, that force will pull it will allow it to drop back down like you would. And I had the opportunity to go out to the our local airport at the same place where I learned how to fly. The flight school's been taken over by different people than when I was there, but one of the people that trained the same time I did, he's a CFI there. So I had the opportunity to go and just jump into different airplanes, and so it's pretty cool where I could like go into the 172. They had two of them there, and you could pull back on the yoke and you could feel it. You could feel the weight of that. And the cool thing is I get to do the same thing at home. That's pretty slick. So so that was pretty neat. The other thing it allowed me to do is kind of make sure my rudder pedals are about the same distance from where I'm sitting, you know. So basically what I did is pull the yoke all the way back, like I would like if I come back all the way back here. And so right now that yoke's pretty close to me. And so and then I looked at where the rudder, when I had it in that position, where were my feet, where were the rudder pedals to my feet. And so that's pretty much what I have at home right now. So, okay. So I showed that. Okay, let me jump back in the plane. Whoops. That's pretty close. So on my Bigscreen Beyond, what I thought was going on is it has a clear shell on it, and I thought it was getting too much light into the shell, and that's what was causing the gray screens. It turns out that probably isn't true. I need to do some more testing, but certainly the link box the original link box is bad. There's something wrong with it that it's loses tracking constantly. So there's like an error in one of the log files that basically points to that direction. Okay, so we got the plane. Let's go ahead and start the plane up. Putting the beacon on. This up. Some power on. Just kind of looking over everything. There we go. Okay. Only on my right controller decided it was gonna go in a place where it shouldn't be. All right, so let's drop down here, flip this over.
20. Wind 180 at 11. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 13. Dew point 7. Altimeter 2990. Density altitude 600 feet. Advise on initial contact. You have information golf. Airy.
Okay, I get that back. Yep. Up here. Back around. Yep. Okay. So today I plan on doing some, since I've kind of went over at the beginning of the stream, kind of how the software's working. So my next goal is to go flying, and I'm going to fly, and I'm going to play around with, whoops. So if I come over here, Also notice autopilot's enabled, software trim's enabled. So let me try to explain what that means. So, the other thing you can notice is, see the blue line? So that, and actually I'll just jump out, it's easier. So we're about 1,000 RPM right now. And you can notice that elevator is a little bit lifted. If I give it even more RPM, it's going to lift even more. But that's kind of the prop wash is. Oops. It's making that happen. So what's the temperature? We warm enough? Yeah. Nope, not quite. Not quite. Need to let it warm up a little bit more. But I'm gonna go out and kind of hand fly. So basically I'm going to be, so the software trim. So basically because I use the trim wheel inside the airplane, that's considered software trim. And so it, as I adjust that trim, the yoke will move. So right when when we start taxiing a little bit and I give it a little more throttle, you're going to watch this yoke move backwards. When I get up around 1,200, 1,300, something like that, then that yoke's going to be pretty close to a neutral position. So, and when we take off, so we're trimmed for takeoff. So that indicator says trim for takeoff. So when we take off, we're going to climb out at around 70 to 75 knots. And I won't need to do anything. It's just, all I'm going to do is, as we go down the runway, when we get to probably around 60, 65, I'm going to pull back just a little bit on the yoke and pretty much release it at that point. And the plane will climb up at the takeoff trim, so at 70, 75 knots. So at least that's what I've experienced in the past. And so I'm going to climb up to about 4,500. Yeah, clouds are high enough. Depending on, we're on 2.4, so yeah, for sure. I'm going to climb up to 4,500, and at that point, I'm going to pull the power back to 1,500. And I'm going to set it up and trim for 65. Pretty much how kind of similar to how you'd be set up to land. And I'll let it go on down to about 2,000 or something like that. And then I want to turn the power up to about 2,200. And if everything is working right, it should stay at 65. It should just climb. And that in itself kind of proves what force feedback does for you. Is it allows you to kind of put the pitch of the plane, not the pitch, but the position of the elevator in a position that's going to control your airspeed. Whether you're climbing or descending, that's going to control your airspeed. Alrighty, we're on ground, so I should be able to get some permission to taxi to runway 24. Got that dialed in? You're at ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, request taxi to runway 24.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, runway 24, taxi via Foxtrot Bravo. contact tower on 118.1 when ready for departure.
Well, that's not even close. Air ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Request taxi to runway 24 and via Delta, cross runway 2, then Alpha, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, runway 24, taxi via Foxtrot Bravo, runway 20.
Oh, man. Oh, well. Whoops. Most of the time I like SayIntentions, but what I find is, for some reason at this airport, it doesn't seem to know where anything is. This is Delta. Foxtrot's over there. Delta. KERI ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf on Delta. Permission to cross runway 20.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, cross runway 20, then continue taxi via Delta.
Guess we'll have to break out Taxi Tuner and take a look at this airport. I was hoping I didn't have to do that, but if I want this to actually work the way it should, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I guess they got a new version of it, so I'll have to. What my concern is that they're using Microsoft Flight Simulator Airport, which isn't real. And for sure this one's real. I know because I did it. And so that's what my concern is that it's using Microsoft Flight Simulator's airport. And all the taxiways are wrong. So it does make it a little annoying. It could be, I mean, the AI is smart enough, if it's got the right data, to figure all this out. It shouldn't be hard. This shouldn't be hard at all. And so that must be what I'm going to have to do here. So it's life. Because it also constantly wants me to use runway 20, and it's never used. I mean, I can't remember the last time I seen a plane land on it. I landed on it when I was training, but that was not normal. Alrighty. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I fired up X-plane earlier this morning, and it was raining. I'm like, oh no. So I was kind of hoping it cleared off enough. That's what I wanted. I wanted scattered clouds, and that's what we got. So That's cool.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, contact tower on 118.1. Have a good afternoon.
Contact tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Alrighty. KERI Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Request straight out departure. Runway 24, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, runway 24, winds 180 at 11, cleared for takeoff. After takeoff, fly runway heading until reaching 5500, then proceed on course.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 24. Fly runway heading, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Not sure what happened there. I was glad I kind of checked my my takeoff trim was whacked pretty badly, so. Okay, so we're trimmed for takeoff. Turn around here. Alrighty. So as I increase the RPM, the yoke pulls closer to me. Alrighty, like we should be able to fly. So we're flying X-plane 12.30, beta 6, so. And something seems a little weird. That indicated airspeed seemed wrong. Not sure why. It certainly seems wrong. It's trimmed for takeoff. It's climbing out at about 61 knots, which isn't, it certainly doesn't seem right to me. I don't know why. This is acting a bit different than what it has in the last probably 3 or 4 flights I've done. So I basically pushed in on the yoke just a little bit and then pulled up on the trim wheel so to give it a little bit more of a nose down attitude. And now it looks about right. That's pretty weird. So I'm at a little bit of a loss as to why it was doing what it was doing. But first time I've experienced that. So, because normally it's climbing out about where I am, like 80 knots or so, something like that. All right, I'll pull back to maybe 23.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, Cessna 6 Bravo, go. Okay. So because I have pretty good power, I'm applying pretty good power. Then I have to keep some rudder pressure, and can certainly feel that in rudders. You know, I can feel that I've got to apply some pressure to kind of keep that diamond on top of that line there. Alrighty, we're coming up on 4,500 feet, so let me pull back the power to like 1,500. Yeah. Pull back on the yoke a little bit. Slow the airplane down. Okay, so she trimmed for about 65 knots. So if you look, this blue line here, so that's the yoke position. So it was over here, you couldn't see it. It was like right here in the middle. It was neutral. So now we're at 66, 65, something like that. And we're doing 450 feet per minute descent. And I'm applying no pressure, it's trimmed. So that's kind of, probably in my opinion, one of the biggest advantages to a force feedback yoke system is exactly this. is that you can feel that pressure. So when I was pulling back, I could feel it. And I could tell as soon as I moved the trim wheel, I could feel it relieve. You know, so meanwhile, it went from here to here. And so that's kind of part of what I wanted to kind of show off today is exactly this. And I have a friend, Triple J, that has a Mosa yoke, and we've been so we've been comparing notes on VR headsets because we both have a Megan X, and he had a Bigscreen Beyond, but he couldn't it didn't work for him. So he got a Megan X. So I got one too, and the Megan X didn't work for me. So we're also comparing notes on force feedback yokes. So it's been kind of a lot of fun to kind of chat back and forth as to. But one thing he's realizing is software is. Let me think about how I want to say this. I believe software is more important than hardware. You can have a very good force feedback yoke, but if the software doesn't match the yoke, you're not going to have as good of an experience as you can. The software here, we're using software called FFBTools, I think it's called. Yeah, FFBTools. And it's awesome. So as I was showing you how it's direct, using a direct input, the other cooler part is that when I load in any airplane that I have set this software up for, it will automatically load the profile for that airplane. So I don't need to pick it. It's automatic. It's picked. So when the airplane loads in, the profile that matches that airplane will load in automatically. So you don't have to do anything other than get it set up to begin with. And but once you've done that, then it's an automatic experience. So which is really, really slick and makes it so much easier to use. So because it appears like on it almost acts like the Mazda software can do that, but it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know enough about the software to know how that works. I need to have that discussion and to know. That was a little weird. All of a sudden, the plane kind of jumped up in the air, like a little bit. I don't know if that was a bump or if that was the headset, the rendering of the headset. I don't know. That was a little weird. Alrighty, so we're cooling down we're getting down close to about 2,000 feet here. And it's been doing pretty good. I'm happy. I'm always happy. That's where we are. So I have I keep my plane going. So basically, I have my headset set. My headset's 2560 by 2560, and I'm running it at 3560 by 3560. So I'm super sampling it quite a bit, and that's what I'm getting. So I am quite happy. And everything is looking, what am I doing here? So I'm running Sim Heaven. Yeah, Sim Heaven and Global Forest for scenery. So Alrighty. So we're gonna pick power back up to about 2200. So now we are making sure we get everything kind of squared away here. Yeah, FliteSim.com, yes. So so now I basically put 2200 RPM in it, and the plane is trying to get everything. If you're turning, you know, if you're not kind of doing flying kind of straight, it will have some impact on it. So I've got a little bit of rudder input on here to try to counter the P factor, and so now it's climbing at about 450 feet per minute, and we were descending at about that feet per minute at 1500 RPM. So, and so if we look, that's about the same place. So, and one thing I found is that there's a little bit of, whoops, there's like a little bit of, even though it's trimmed, there's a little bit of play. So I can move the yoke about this far without feeling really any resistance. Here's what I don't know. Is that realistic? Is that something I need to tune? And I don't know that quite yet. But it's just something I've noticed. But it isn't, so it isn't like the airspeed's like moving by 15 or 20. I mean, the airspeed's moving by 4 or 5. So it's like, okay, that's fine, you know, I mean, you know, so. And what I'm not sure is there really a difference between ascending and descending? You know, as far as where if the elevator's in the same position and you're trying to ascend versus descend, should the airspeed be exactly the same? I don't know that. Just don't. But it can definitely feel the P factor that I have to put to keep this aligned. I have to put rudder input in to keep it aligned. So you can see how much rudder input I'm putting in to keep that aligned. Yeah, quite a few of my last streams have been, I've been flying on autopilot, so this is kind of fun to just hand fly this thing and get to experience how this thing feels. Yeah, let me think. Microsoft FliteSim 11 and 12. Microsoft Flight Simulator 20 and 24. And I think if they don't have P3D working, I think they're actively working on it. So, yes. It's a little more money than the Moza. It doesn't have all the, in its normal state, it doesn't have all the extra buttons the Moza has. It's pretty basic. For me in VR, I don't care about the buttons. I can't see them anyhow. I don't use them. I use virtual buttons. That's how I fly. And so it's fine. I don't have any issues with that. But what they did do is they had a faceplate replacement, so that you can basically add buttons to it if that's what you want to do. So I'm not sure what the pricing is. It was just something that I found no interest. So, but I mean, I do all my buttons with VR controllers, so I don't have any need. So. Alrighty, we're back up to 4,700. So let's pull power back. Go back to 1,500, and then I'm gonna turn around here. So let's head back to the east. Trying to keep it fairly level here. Where'd my indicator go? Oh, it's over there. Okay. So we're gonna do a heading. We don't need a heading actually. We got shoreline to follow. So we'll just follow the heading, the shoreline. A little bit less. Whoops. Not that much less. There we go. That's good. Oh, once everything gets settled out here, we should end up going back to about 65. So I just want to prove that just to begin with, and I'll pick something different. So I'd say that's pretty close. So we went from 2,200, 65 knots to 1,500, and still right around 65 knots. So let me let's go up to 2,000. How far away are we? Yeah, let's go to 2,000. And then let me put the nose down. So I'm pushing it in on the nose just a little bit. Feeling that pressure. And then trimming it off. My goal is 80. So whenever you change that, your RPM is going to change a little bit. So in the distance here, I can see the peninsula. So that's kind of where we're going to land. So I'm not quite sure how many miles I am away. But pretty soon I'll call for Basically, when I can kind of see the runway, so I can feel it, wanting to climb a little bit. So I'm right around 3,500 feet. I'm trying to be level right about here. I'll need to get rid of some, but that's kind of what we're doing. And I'm making just the smallest amount of trim changes. Really small. So if you can look now, you can see that that line is just about where the white line is. So, and I see the airspeed went down because this went out way a little bit. So if it's right here, that's going to be 80. Mm-hmm. So I actually probably should be able to see the airport here, but for some reason I can't quite yet. There is a little bit you can see. There's like some haze in the area, so there it is. I can just barely see the pappies. Alrighty. So we're still on tower frequency here. So, so let me do some descending. I'll pull back power a little bit, let this thing descend a little bit. KERI Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Permission to land, runway 24, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Enter left downwind for runway 20.
Request permission to land runway 24, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Enter left downwind for runway 24.
Left downwind, runway 24, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. So I went from 2200 to like 1450. And so that gets us to descend. And at 550, something like that. As we get kind of close to, and it's still at 80 knots. So as we get kind of close to, probably about now, I'm going to go up to 2,000. That should hopefully level us off. So in VR, I have been seeing kind of would be along the horizon. Every once in a while you'll have like all them clouds will kind of turn black for like a second, second and a half. And then they're back to what they normally are. You go, that's weird. I've seen this in, wow. It's been quite a few versions of X-Plane 12 that I've seen this at. I turned in a bug report, but I haven't seen one in 6 yet, so beta 6 yet, so we'll have to see. Oh, we probably got to get a little bit lower here. Should probably be around 1,800 feet. Mm-hmm. KERI Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, downwind, runway 24.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, winds 180 at 11, runway 24, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 24, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, contact ground on 121.9er.
Contact ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. See what happened there. It's the second time I've seen that. I'm gonna pause this sim. So, I want to try to figure out what happened here. Oh, one of the other kind of cool things is with the software, you can, when you do a replay and X-plane, the yoke and the rudder pedals are mirrored. You know, look at where I am. So I'm on the ground. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Let me look at the landing. Whoops. Let me get up here. So replay. Hello. Whoops. Oh, this ain't good. May have broke X-plane. Huh. No, it doesn't say it's broke.